Social media is crazy. If you go on Facebook or Instagram, you see all these posts from your friends about vacation and new cars and all this really great stuff. And it makes you think that your life isn't so great, or you're not as successful as some of your friends, or many other bad thoughts. I'm sure if you're not a business owner yourself, you've talked to a business owner about how they sold their business, and man, that's another example of how great it can sound. However, it was probably an uncomfortable process. Stay tuned to listen what you can do to hopefully decrease that level of discomfort. For many business owners, whenever they sell their business, that's essentially the start of their retirement. The idea that you're not going to have any place to go come 8 o'clock on a Monday morning is something why selling a business can be uncomfortable. You have to prepare yourself that post-close, there is going to be change. If you're passing your business down to your son or daughter or a key manager or whatever, doesn't mean they're going to do things exactly the same. In terms of private equity, a big goal of private equity is to grow. Another big goal is to increase the sophistication of the business so that there are processes and procedures in place so that whenever the company grows, the company's actually able to handle that growth profitably. For a lot of folks, all that process and procedure talk feels like bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is anathema to what most entrepreneurs think about whenever they think about why they started the business, what got them excited about the business, what kept them excited about the business all these years. Of course, you're going to have to share company financials, but you're going to have to share company tax returns. The buyer is probably going to perform a background check on you, which even might include a credit check. Maybe that bothers you, maybe it doesn't. Perhaps even scarier is that at some point, they're going to want to talk to your employees. They're going to want to talk to your customers. They're going to want to talk to your suppliers. Now, granted, that comes very late in the process, but still, all those things are uncomfortable. I mean, I completely understand why a seller does not want the prospective buyer to talk to the employees, because what happens if the deal doesn't close? That creates a lot of strife and uncertainty for the employee base. Regardless, at some point, it's going to have to happen, so you really just need to prepare yourself for that eventuality. You know, who is your buyer? Are you going to get along with your buyer? How long is the process going to take? What's the buyer going to do with the business post-close? What are people going to think about me? But my experience tells me that many business owners get to the point in their careers, with their businesses where they know there are going to be certain events or economic conditions or changes with their customers that are going to throw them for a loop to some degree. However, they've been thrown that loop many times before. They know how to handle it. So whereas they have the experience in dealing with these other types of uncertainties, they don't have the experience dealing with these types of uncertainties. And for that reason, it can be a very uncomfortable process, which is what we're talking about here. The first is that I strongly encourage you to not start down this path if you're not going to be committed to the process. We work with numerous sellers that tell me they're ready and they want to move forward, and throughout the process, I just noticed some hesitation. Earlier in my career, I definitely, or I think I would have, tried to convince that person that yes, this is the right move, and really tried to persuade the seller that now is the time. I don't do that anymore, because even though I might have been persuasive at that particular moment, once they get home or in a week or two, when I'm not staring across the table from them, then that persuasion doesn't really hold anymore, and they decide maybe it's not right. The second key takeaway is that I strongly encourage you to simply learn more about selling your business. I've even written a book about how to sell your business to private equity, and in that book, there is a discussion about how to potentially increase the value. That's important, but the mindset and the preparation, I think, is even more important. And what I mean by that is start to look at this process from the eyes of your buyer. In doing that, think about what's going to be important for them. what you can do to make the process easier, to allow them to get to know you, to get to know the business, etc., so that there's at least a few parts of this process that are not quite as uncomfortable. Now, at 4Pillar, our role isn't to advise sellers on how to improve their business or what changes to make. However, I really like whenever I am talking to a business owner that has thought proactively about how to sell their business and what they want to achieve and this and that. That's part of the reason why I wrote this book, is not change your business so that it's attractive to private equity. It's being proactive about emphasizing the strengths of the company, letting the buyer understand those, while also being objective about some of the challenges that the company faces. I get it. It's going to be uncomfortable. It might even be something you dread. But remember the statistics. 20% of businesses fail after 2 years. 45% fail within the first 5 years. 65% fail within the first 10 years. And only 25% of businesses make it past 15 years. So through this trying times, just remember that the folks that are the most successful had to endure the toughest challenges. Enduring this challenge is the price that you have to pay for a level of success that most people will not achieve. So I don't know if you're the type that embraces the mindset of ignorance is bliss, but if so, I apologize for bursting the bubble. Feel free to hit that dislike button, because even though it might hurt my feelings, it's not public and it's not gonna sway anybody else. However, I do hope that I've at least opened your eyes to the idea that the process of selling your business, while the end is probably going to be a great achievement, getting that final last mile, so to speak, is going to be a challenge, and it's just one more that you will have had to endure as a business owner.